Now, just to tell you, everything I'm going to say is 100% actual information and lore relating to the mascot of Jack in the Box, Jack Box. I'm not making this up. This is all real. You can all look it up on the Jack in the Box wiki or in any of the commercials. Okay? Let's get started. Jack Box is known today as the official spokesman and head of Jack in the Box, a popular fast food chain specializing in the 24-hour system offering any meal at any time. You could have a burger for breakfast or French toast sticks at midnight. Whatever hankering you have, and if it's on the menu, you're gonna get it and have it your way. Wait, that doesn't sound... It's safe to say that while this business is not on the levels of, say, McDonald's or Burger King when it comes to the number of units across the country, in fact, it's kind of rare to find Jack in the Boxes anywhere else beyond the Southwest, Jack has truly proven himself as someone who understands the market of night owls on their meal break, broke college students that only have a handful of change, and of course, people who simply want egg and sausage sandwich at 3 a.m. Is that too hard to ask, McDonald's? Burger King? Come on, guys. Get with the times. Although, like any true entrepreneur or public figure, Jack Box is by no means a perfect individual. Through various injuries, bad encounters with select employees, and extremely controversial approaches to advertising his business, the man has truly left quite the polarizing legacy as a human being. I'd argue he's simply just a flawed man. I mean, who isn't a flawed human being on this earth, right? Why do I say this? Well, to fully understand his current mindset and behaviors as head of Jack in the Box, we're gonna have to go all the way back to the beginning. Born on a Colorado cattle ranch on May 16th, Jack I. Box was brought to the world by Patty Box and Jack's unnamed dad. Yeah, we don't know his name. Not yet, anyway. Growing up, Jack had dreamed of becoming an astronaut, and even passed all the tests to reach closer to his dreams. Yeah, imagine that reality. This thing flying around in space. However, it was during his youth that he created his first ever Jumbo Jack, using his dad's backyard grill. Aside from his passion and talent for making burgers, he lived a pretty ordinary life. Even in his teen years, not much was really noteworthy besides being labeled as the class clown despite never saying anything funny. I guess he just looked funny. It's kind of mean, isn't it? After high school, he attended Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana with an unknown major. We can only assume he attempted to fully realize his astronaut dreams, only to settle in business after a positive response to his cooking. Again, this is just speculation. Eventually, and this is not speculation, he moved to California where he founded his new restaurant, McDonald's. Wait, no, I f***ed up. It's Jack in the Box, named after the likeness of his head. I'm assuming maybe it's just a huge coincidence. Being the cool cat he is, his new restaurant utilized the first use of drive-thru intercoms. Yeah, he was quite the pioneer, and Jack himself would take orders from atop the speaker boxes. Crazy. Look at this snazzy boy back in the day. Look at that backlit freaking signage. So cool. All seemed well for Jack, including the hiring of fry cook Ed, who helped create the secret sauce for the bonus Jack Burger. However, in 1980, tragedy struck for the up-and-coming founder.
What are you doing to the Jack in the Box clown?
He's going bye-bye, lady.
In order to rebrand to a more adult crowd, the childish-looking Jack Box was literally fired from his position by the higher executives, being strapped with dynamite and promptly blown to bits. Disturbingly, this was broadcast all over TV, and further cemented Jack in a single-handed embarrassment and probably trauma for all kinds of people. Kids, adults, elders, like the dog, the goldfish, anybody. This may have seemed like the end for Box, but through years of healing and the miracle of plastic surgery, the former head would seek revenge to reclaim his title.
Hello, I'm Jack, founder of Jack in the Box. Perhaps you remember when I was fired.
How does he do this? By returning to the boardroom that had fired him a decade and a half prior and blowing the f*** out of them. Yep, much like his demise, this was also broadcast on TV and was met with immediate controversy. Yeah, it didn't take long for Jack Box to make his grand return without starting something. Given the climate at the time, with reports of workplace violence across the US, no one took this lightly. Although this would help reintroduce Jack Box to the world as someone who you do not mess with. As seen in the forthcoming advertisements, this new and improved Jack Box would not only strive to improve the company's business practices, but actively act against other competing restaurants or any employees who dare try to suggest changes to his prices, or jack up the prices, if you will. It can be easy to assume that this is just Jack being somewhat of a jerkish head, someone who is always cracking deadpan jokes or getting hostile at all the wrong moments. There are no greater examples than his honest if brutal interactions with a chef who ate a pancake that looked like his face.
Don't do it. Don't eat my face. Do not eat my
You ate his face?
Yeah, this is some workplace drama you don't want airing in front of the world. It's largely due in part because of the devastating events in 1980 that caused him to be a little edgy. This is due to his constant fear of not only reliving those events, but also let every one of his surroundings know what he went through and how he felt during his firing, and that no position should be taken for granted, whether it's a higher up position or anything lower. And, according to the Jack in the Box wiki, he still gets very anxious when it comes to explosives to this very day. Just anywhere, poor guy. However, this could also simply showcase Jack's overall diligence as a businessman. Man has run for president, owned a football team, is raising a child that will possibly follow in his footsteps and not become a vegetarian. Wait, no, veterinarian. And helps so many people with their issues by offering them his food. People like stoners, bi-curious girls, yeah, really, straight girls, and even his little antenna clone things. You get them free with a sourdough Jack. Well, you did back in 2001. All was smooth sailing for Jack amidst all the craziness, including allegations of forcing people to eat his food, and the large list of people he fired day one. However, tragedy would strike once again in February of 2009.
Phil, I want to make sure the public knows they can get anything on our menu anytime. For instance, breakfast all day, or maybe a burger.
Jack Box was hit by an incoming bus and fell into a deep coma. This took the locals by storm, and a website titled hangintherejack.com, where fans and supporters of the man would send his best wishes, was made. Various other social media outlets like Facebook and MySpace, back when those two coexisted, also chimed in, with accounts also sending their condolences. And this is where we get to see just how much the company means to Jack. You see, when Jack immediately fell into his coma, his right hand, Phil, was fully determined to take over the business and rename it to
Fill in the Box.
Fill in the box!
Do you really want to eat at a fast food place with overpriced goods named Fill in the Box? No. Why do I bring this up? Well, Jack doesn't want sleazebags or anyone who has intentions of going against his food dreams. This is why he's so harsh on other people, especially incompetent employees and this guy.
Girls love this.
Our target is men.
What's a target?
Only Mr. Box can truly have the determination and skill set to make his company what it is today. And this is largely thanks to his most admirable trait, his honesty. A huge part of the ads is how straightforward they are with telling you, hey, the food's not the healthiest. In fact, the food itself may not be that good most of the time, and hey, some might even just find it flat out disgusting. But if you really need that quick fix, you could pay a small fee plus tax for food that would otherwise be extremely pricey elsewhere, and furthermore closed after 10 p.m. or earlier. Jack would never want to give up this approach and never water down his brand or cave in to temptation from other executives or do any other dumb gimmicks beyond lower prices, because he truly believes in the market he's trying to appeal to. The market may be small. He may have given up his dreams of flying in space to appeal to a said market. Said market doesn't even have that many units in the US. But this just shows how dedicated Jack Box is to his craft, and he will keep striving to satisfy the hunger of midnight foodie callers if it means lower prices, lesser locations, and literally telling everyone his food is unhealthy right in their face. Mr. Box may have his own faults, but he is a hardworking individual, a family man, sort of, and one of the most honest leaders in the fast food market. This is why I believe Jack Box is one of the ideal leaders in the businesses today. He's still around today as well, so he's doing something right. There's way more to discuss here, like Jack Box's extended family members, his connections with various celebrities, and of course some of the other publicity stunts that he did. However, that would make this video a lot longer than what it's needed to be discussing his overall character. Maybe someday I'll discuss the further hidden lores, but for now, Jack Box may be flawed, but he's a very diligent and honest, hardworking individual, and we should all look up to him for that. We hope you enjoyed tonight's video on Jack Box. Please let us know in the comment what you think of this character, and I guess the whole Jack in the Box lore thing as a whole, and if you want to see another video covering the entire lore. I want to get to it before Yesterworld gets to it. Before I head out, I'd like to thank the Patreon producers, Leaf Razor, Valkaria, Whoop-Doo, Michaela Bellamy, Empty the Dude, Blackjack, Nightingale Wednesday Nightmare, Unkale, and Manny Paredes. If you would also like your name read at the end of every video of ours, then please consider donating to the Patreon. There's a link down below, and Alright, comment of the day is a thing, I forgot. This comment comes from DanGuy96, and this is another one of those pretty long ones, so please read it yourself if you can. But basically, this summarizes how most of the characters in More Oral, had the show continued, would have completely redeemed themselves in a way which would make everything come full circle, as this religious satire turned into a dark psychological character study. I don't really have much to say on the matter. I'm not the one making these More Oral videos, so all I can say is, I really do think you're onto something here, and I hope Trevor has something better to say in response to it. Thank you all for watching, and yeah. Funny. Something funny. I got nothing. I'm sorry.